After the release of the Oblivion remaster, a lot of goodwill started going back towards Bethesda. I even made a video about how I'm not mad at Bethesda anymore, you know, that the Oblivion remaster, the fact that they even did it was enough goodwill for me to not be super pissed at the way they've been handling things recently. And in that video, it got a ton of dislikes and a bunch of people in the comments calling me weak and soft for forgiving them. And I understand the viewpoint. Like, I get why people are upset that I was forgiving Bethesda or whatever. But it's just really weird because basically ever since then, Bethesda has been completely radio silent. Like, for example, they had basically confirmed that they were working on a second paid DLC for Starfield, and I think it was supposed to actually like come out around this time. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not super informed on the whole Starfield scene, but I'm like pretty sure that they were working on a DLC that was supposed to come out relatively soon. And they have been completely silent on that to the point where people are like, we don't even think this is happening. So I would say the most likely explanation is that they're just like, you know what? Starfield didn't do what we needed it to do. Maybe we can revisit it later. We'll continue to let fans add like new Creation Club stuff, but for now we're just gonna kind of pull away from it and focus our full attention on the Elder Scrolls 6. I think with the success of the Oblivion remaster, the people in Bethesda really saw like, okay, this is our bread and butter. Elder Scrolls is what our fans really want more than anything else, and we need to make sure that we get Elder Scrolls 6 right. The timeline for the release on Elder Scrolls 6 is still pretty much completely unknown, and you know, a lot of the estimates are saying like 2028 or something like that, which is just absolutely sickening to think about, that we have to wait another 3 years for this game that we've already waited, how many years has it been? 16 years? 17 years? Or sorry, it will be 17 years before the in between Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls 6. But it's been, yeah, like 14 years. We've already been waiting for the next Elder Scrolls installment, and then now we're gonna have to wait another 3 years. Like, it's a really depressing thought. But you kind of look at Bethesda as a whole, and you realize, like, hey, they didn't even really have that much to do with the Oblivion remaster. Like, Virtuos Studios had most of the development power on that game. And I have seen people say, like, yeah, they don't deserve, Bethesda didn't deserve any credit for the Oblivion remaster because they didn't actually do it. But at the end of the day, that was their intellectual property that they wanted to re-release to fans, mostly to make money, obviously, but also to kind of hold Elder Scrolls fans over because they've been waiting for so long for anything tangible in the Elder Scrolls universe, and the Oblivion remaster did a really good job of that. But now that enough time has passed from the release of the remaster to now, you start to look at it and you see the radio silence around anything Starfield related. You see that we still haven't gotten anything. We haven't even gotten a crumb of information about the Elder Scrolls 6, not even a measly leak, which is another thing that kind of just confirms that the Oblivion remake and all those leaks that were coming out about the Oblivion remaster, it was definitely that Bethesda that was putting that stuff out. They definitely put those leaks out to generate hype because everything around Elder Scrolls 6 has been so airtight, we haven't even gotten a molecule of a leak around the Elder Scrolls 6. There were some leaks that came out a month or two ago that I made a video about them, but those leaks were probably, if they were actual leaks, it still wasn't very much, and you know, there's a chance that it was just fabricated by some Redditor, and it wasn't even real to begin with. But I mean, the press around Elder Scrolls 6 has been so airtight, it just leads me to believe that all those leaks, the tons of leaks we had leading up to the release of the Oblivion remaster, were definitely purposefully put out by Bethesda to generate hype, because it doesn't make any sense otherwise why Elder Scrolls 6 has not had any sort of like real leaks. Like, we were having literal images from the game leaked from the Oblivion remaster before the game came out. Full-blown in-engine game screenshots. And it's just like, okay, come on now. Like, that's definitely purposefully being put out to generate hype for the game. So I kind of feel bad for Starfield fans because I don't know how many Starfield fans are left, but it's like, you know, Shattered Space was an extremely disappointing DLC. You know, that was being advertised as like Starfield's version of Phantom Liberty from Cyberpunk 2077. You know, that the Phantom Liberty DLC pretty much completely resurrected that game. It was already on the upward trend because of some of the updates they were making in the game, but the Phantom Liberty DLC really solidified Cyberpunk 2077 as one of the best video games ever made, and that was kind of what was expected by the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield. Like, Starfield's launch was pretty disappointing. The overall game was pretty disappointing for most people, so they were looking at Shattered Space as an opportunity to really just fix a lot of the problems the game had, add a bunch of new content, and kind of become what Starfield was supposed to be when we were, you know, getting really hyped for its release. But then Shattered Space was a massive disappointment. It just did not do what people wanted it to do. It wasn't what people thought. I didn't even play it. I haven't even played Shattered Space. I just don't really have any interest. But from everything I've seen and some of the trusted reviewers I watch, like Mr. Matty Plays, you know, basically just saying that it was very underwhelming. All the character work that was supposed to be done in it for like some of the companions was very underwhelming. The story was underwhelming. The new area you got to explore was underwhelming. And then you have, you know, Starfield developers and the lead writer Emil Pagliarulo coming out and saying, you know, oh well, you know, fans just don't understand this, or we don't want to write super intelligent, like well thought out stories because fans will just ignore it anyway. They play these games for the sandbox, blah blah blah. And then you have Todd Howard coming out and being like, oh well, we probably shouldn't have given the buggies away for free. You know, the buggies that you could get in and traverse the landscapes. Like Starfield literally launched without the ability to drive around on vehicles on planets. Like you literally had to walk around on foot on planets when the game came out. Then they added buggies as a free add-on to where you could actually get in a car, get on like a moon rover, like a buggy, and drive around these planets and get around faster. They added that for free later on, which is what they definitely should have done. But then when Shattered Space came out, when, you know, Todd Howard was asked about the poor reception for Shattered Space, his response was, oh, well, we probably shouldn't have given the buggies away for free. We probably should have included them in the DLC to make the DLC a little bit more worth it. It's like, bro, that should have been in the game from the jump. Like, that has nothing to do with Shattered Space having low-quality writing, low-quality questing, and low-quality locations. Like, that has nothing to do with it. So, again, it just showcases the kind of disconnect between Todd Howard and Bethesda Game Studios and their employees. It shows the disconnect with them and, of course, the fans who are, like, desperate for literally anything. So I don't really know what Bethesda's doing right now. Again, if I had to guess, if I had to just put all my eggs in one basket, the most obvious answer is that they are pulling away from Starfield. They're pulling all their development power, and they're putting it into the Elder Scrolls 6 because they know they can't mess this up. If they mess up the Elder Scrolls 6, if the Elder Scrolls 6 is disappointing, or it's not good, or even if it's not better than Skyrim, like it has to be better than Skyrim, and we would have waited 17 years in between Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls 6. Like, the Elder Scrolls 6 has to be better. It just has to. And you might say, oh, well, that's an unfair thing to expect. You can't expect them to make a game that's better than one of the most popular video games of all time, but I mean, Skyrim had a lot you could improve upon. Skyrim was a great game. I love it. It's my favorite video game ever, and it's a really immersive. It has a great open world and everything, but in terms of writing, in terms of character work, in terms of other things that, you know, help with immersion, in terms of just overall features that are present in the game, Skyrim was a lot more shallow than Oblivion, a lot more shallow than Morrowind. Like, you got to do better next time. So there's a lot there's a lot of expectations for Elder Scrolls 6, and that comes with the territory of making your fans wait this long for the game. Like, it just simply has to be good. And I've made videos about this before, like, Elder Scrolls 6 has to be perfect damn near. Like, it has to be one of the best games ever made. And you have people in the comments like, you can't expect that. That's unfair. What's wrong? You know, you can't expect them to make a perfect game. Bro, you have to. You like quite literally, Bethesda has to make an amazing, incredible, genre-defining game with Elder Scrolls 6, or it is a failure for them because they have had too much bad PR. They've messed up way too much stuff. They've made their fans wait almost 20 years for this game. It has to be good. I don't know why that's a controversial opinion, but anyway, that's it. I just wanted to touch on Bethesda again. I've made a few videos about Bethesda and kind of just touching on where they're at different points in time. A lot of my videos about Bethesda have been negative. This video wasn't even really intended to be negative. I just wanted to kind of touch on where they're at right now and discuss where they are post Oblivion remaster, and just what we're looking at with everything in terms of Bethesda Game Studios. So hopefully this means that they are just putting all their eggs in the Elder Scrolls 6 basket to try to make it the best possible experience that they can for fans, to make the wait worthwhile, and then maybe once they feel like they're in a good position with that game, they can go ahead and go back to Starfield and release a DLC for it, which I'm sure if they've been working on a DLC, they probably have a lot of it already done. So just put on the finishing touches, add a couple extra things, and release that, and hopefully it's good enough to, you know, make fans happy about it. But that's what I would assume their plan is. I still to this day just wish that Bethesda would be a little bit better at communicating with their fans, be a little bit better at just updating fans on the progress of things. Like, if they were to even just come out and say, hey, We're working on Elder Scrolls 6 tirelessly. You know, we will return to Starfield eventually. We will return to the Fallout universe eventually. But right now, we just are putting all our eggs in the Elder Scrolls 6 basket to make the best possible game we can for you guys. I think that would go a long way. I don't know why more companies don't do that. I don't know why they feel like they have to keep everything a secret all the time. I think communicating with your fans, especially when your fans are pissed off at you, communicating with your fans is a really important aspect of game development. And again, I just don't know why it's not done more often. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the topic. You guys let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all on the next one.